Good morning, everybody. We have started this topic last class. And in our last class, we talked about the cost. We talked about the cost center. We talked about the cost object. We talked about the cost unit. Right? Then we talk about the cost analysis, which is just a process of classifying and estimating cost. And we went further to talk about the cost classification, which is how to group costs based on certain parameters. So how to group the cost based on certain factors. So we talked about that last week. And at the same time, we talked about the different classification, which is classification by nature, direct and indirect costs, classification by functions, production and the non-production costs, then classification by control, which is controllable and uncontrollable costs, then classification by behavior. So we talked about that last week, and we went further to discuss about the classification by behavior, which is a variable and fixed cost. We talk about the behavior, which involves classification based on how the cost reacts to the changes in the level of activities, right? We talked about that last week. And we talked about this behavior, which will be fixed and variable, right? So we talk about the variable cost, which we said it is a cost that that change when the activity level change. So we talked about that last week, right? That we have said that the variable cost that we say is changing is the total variable cost, right? So the variable cost per unit is constant. And we said if you are spending 1 naira to produce a unit, when you produce 2 units, it becomes 4 naira. When you produce 6 units, it becomes what? 6 naira. When you produce 100 units, it becomes 200,000 naira, right? So with that, the total variable cost is what is changing. The variable cost per unit remains constant. The variable cost per unit remains constant, but the total variable cost is changing, right? We talked about that last week. Okay. And we said that when we say the variable cost per unit is constant, we are talking about linear variable cost, right? So then when you talk about linear, so it will be changing, but the cost will not be changing in the same proportional changing in activity level. Then we said the variable cost increase. Sorry, the unit increase, but the variable cost increase at higher rate, or the unit increase, but the variable cost increase at a lower rate. That is what of convex and concave, right? We talked about that last week. Now we talk about the fixed cost, which we said remain constant, irrespective of what changes in the level of activity, right? That is, when you produce 1, your fixed cost remain the same like rent. When you produce 100, it will be the same, right? So we said that the total fixed cost remain constant, even if the activity level is changing, right? We talk about that, but we said that the total fixed cost remain constant, but the fixed cost per unit is what? Is variable. We talked about that last week. We said it can lead to what we call economies of scale. Okay. Then we said that when we say that the fixed cost remain constant, we are talking about long-term fixed cost, right? right? That will have what we call step fixed cost. That will only be constant within the relevant range. Outside the range, it becomes another steps. I get to know. We demonstrated that last week. I mean, and we said that from that now, we have seen that the total cost depends on the unit produced. I mean, am I making sense? The total cost to be incurred depend on how many units you produce, right? That means the total cost is a dependent variable, right? While the unit to produce is what? Is independent variable. So from there, we said that since the total cost is equal to fixed cost plus variable cost, I mean, and this total cost is a function of how many units produced here. Since this one is constant, right? So we now say that your variable cost, your total cost, which is a dependent variable, is y. Then fixed cost is a, which is constant. Then the variable cost is what? Bx. This is what we formulated last week after our explanation, right? Now, when you talk of the cost behaviors, there are some costs that they are not fixed and they are not variable. Most likely sometimes. Let's look at what we call mixed cost. Or you call this semi-fixed cost. I'm going to cost estimate, but I want to explain it before I get to cost estimation. The mixed cost, or you call it semi-fixed cost, or you call it semi-variable cost. I mean, when you talk of the mixed cost, we are talking about the cost that contain the element of fixed and variable cost. I mean, the cost that comprises the variable and fixed element of cost. I mean, now look at it here. You have a cost that is like this. Level of activity cost. It now be like this. It's now like this. Is it variable? Is it fixed? That comprises the variable cost and fixed cost. So it has the element of fixed and it has the element of variable cost. Do you get it now? Now look at this cost now. Activity level cost. Is it variable or fixed? 2. So please, this is one of the problems of PM. Understand some things in PM. When they tell you overhead, is it variable or fixed? They are not specific that variable overhead. They are not specific that fixed overhead. If it is where you want to do budget, you are budgeting, or you are estimating cost, or you need to predict cost. I get it now. You need to firstly separate that cost. Do you get it now? You need to segregate the fixed from variable. That is where you can estimate correctly. Do you get it now? Or they said cost. Is it variable or fixed? Can you see now? Please take notice of the little thing that some people fail PM. Because failure to quickly know that this thing needs to be separated, that may lead to 0 in some questions. Because by the time you are unable to identify that, you may not be able to go anywhere. That's one of the technicality in PM. You need to pay attention to details. You can't just take detail as it is. No, you look at the details. Where do I need to separate? They said selling expenses. Is it variable or fixed? You don't know. I get it now. So if you are talking of estimating, you may need to separate that. Do you get it now? So these are the issues now. So when you now see a mixed cost, you have to separate those costs before you can even what? Before you can estimate. I mean, you need to identify which one is fixed, which one is variable. Then it is after you have separated to the fixed and variable, then you can now estimate. I get it now. And we said that the cost estimation simply refers to what? Prediction of the future cost. I mean, so you are producing goods and services. What is the cost of producing 100 units? What is the cost of producing 50 units? What is the cost of producing 1,000? That is, you are estimating the cost of producing goods are. So when you say estimate, that means you are predetermining the cost. So you have not incurred the cost, you are budgeting, you are estimating, you are predetermining that cost. I get it now. And you can't do that correctly, or else you know how your cost behave. The one that will vary, you vary that cost. The one that will remain constant, you make it remain constant. The one that is mixed, you separate the fixed and variable, you do that. So please take note of that. So now when you talk of the mixed cost now, before we can estimate, if any of your costs contain a mixed cost, you have to segregate the mixed from variable, from fixed from variable. Now, what are the methods of separating fixed from variable in a mixed cost? Let's look at that quickly. I will not waste time on some of the method, but there are some method I have to pay serious attention. So you also need to take note here, because that's one of the topic, one of the method that is very important ingredients. You are going to need it seriously as we are moving forward. When we talk of method of separating mixed cost, one, we have engineering method. Engineering method. Two, we have inspection of account, or you call it account classification. Account classification. Then third, we have high and low method. Fourth, we have a scatter diagram, which we call graph method. Then we have regression method. So once you see that a cost is a mixed cost, you have to use this, and I'm going to talk about them one after the other. Let's look at engineering method. Engineering method is an engineering analysis that involves establishing the relationship, that is technological relationship, between input and output. It is what? It is engineering analysis that involves establishing of the technological relationship between input and output. When you look at this one requires the engineers that have these necessary skills. They have the knowledge of what it will require to carry out some engineering work. They can tell you that, okay, let's say we're having construction work. They can tell you, when you supply this particular quantity of material, they must be able to get this work to this level. Can you see now? Is it based on their what? their knowledge, their skill, their engineering knowledge. Do you get it now? That when you give them this quantity of input, they must give you this quantity of output. So can you see that? So that one is a method. I will now ask you about use a technology engineering method. So I won't stress myself on that. Then we have inspection of account, which we call account classification. This one happened to us, some of us that we are an accountant in our office. When you are preparing your financial statement, you go to cost of sales, you go to admin, in your admin, that's the classification by function, right? So you go to admin, electricity, maintenance and repair and maintenance, water, you put all those costs together, everything, Now, if they are asking you, accountant, please, is this one variable, is it fixed? To answer them is based on your experience and your personal judgment. Am I right? Because what you say is fixed to you, another accountant can tell you that this cost is variable. There will be argument. So that means when you talk of account classification or inspection of accounts, it is a method that involves separation of missed costs based on the experience and the judgment of the accountant. Separation of missed costs into fixed and variable based on the personal judgment and the experience of an accountant, or of the accountant. Are we there now? In this case, this method is very simple and is very easy, right? But it is subjective in nature. Can you see now? Because what you say is variable is based on your own personal experience and it's based on your own personal judgment. What is variable to you, I can tell you based on my own experience and judgment, is fixed. I get it now. So let's say, for example, now they give us some cost. Now let's say direct material, let me say 100,000, direct labor 50,000. Let's go. Let's say office rent 30,000, maintenance, let me say repair and maintenance, let me say 40,000. What again? Depreciation 10,000, miscellaneous expenses, let me say 5,000. That means if you are using account classification, what you need to do is that which one is variable here, which one is fixed. Simple. We are going to take the one that is variable to be variable, the one that is fixed to fixed, and total together. When I say, okay, let's go. Material, direct material, variable or fixed. You pick it there, 100,000. Direct labor, variable or fixed. Variable, you go there. Office rent, variable or fixed. You go there, fixed. Repair and maintenance, variable or fixed. Voila. But here, account does not go to combination. You have to choose either variable or fixed. Can you see now? Which one? Fixed cost. Good. Can you see where subjective opinion comes? And they are choosing variable. Can you see now? So if you look at it, when you get to maintenance now, some are saying fixed, some are saying variable. Can you see now? And then actually, maintenance may be fixed, maintenance may be variable. Do you know it now? Or the combination of the two. Do you know it's possible? It's possible that you have agreement with a service company. That okay, every month we are bringing our vehicles to you. Whether they come or no call, even they come once, this is the agreed amount. And if we come 20 times, this is the agreed amount. Fixed. All you are going there, as you are going there, they calculate your money you pay. So it depends on how many times you go. If you go only once, you pay for one. Can you see now? So these are the problem here. They can be two. I think I'm making small sense, huh? So these are the two. These are the issues now that make account classification to be what? To be subjective in nature. So that is where it is. Just okay. If you say variable, you will say variable. If you say fixed, you say fixed. So that's where the problem is now. We just total the variable together, get the fixed together. If they say this cost is for 100,000 units, your total variable divided by what? Divided by 100,000. You have seen your B. Then the fixed that remain fixed, you have formulated your what? Cost function. I will not go to this more than this because I don't think I can go to this level and be asking you this petty question. So just to total the variable is about your subjective classification. The total variable total together. The total fixed give you the total. If they tell you that this cost given to you is for 30,000 units, I mean, that means the total variable cost has to be divided by what? By 30,000 units, right? So that is your B. That is variable cost per unit. So you have already now estimated your cost now, which is Y equals to A plus B here. You have seen the B already here. You have seen the A here. So formula flow. So I want to stress myself on something that is not that. So don't worry. We will have a long way to go. So do it on your own. Any choice you want, choose. Whether it's fixed or variable. Understand? Give me the answer there. So I will not waste my time on that. Now, why I waste my time small, my own time small, is this high and low method. Don't forget that we said the account classification is subjective in nature. I mean, we now have high and low method. High and low method is a scientific method. It is a scientific method of separating mixed costs. It is a scientific method of separating mixed costs, right, into fixed and variable elements. Into fixed and variable elements. I will explain something here. When we say scientific method, is it subjective in nature? No. That is why high and low method is not subjective in nature. It is an objective method. Because you don't need to pick the high level of activities and the low level of activities. So you can't influence that. I mean, so that is how it is not subjective in nature, but it has its own problem. When you pick the highest and the lowest, it ignores the other data. It only pick the extreme and the lowest. What are we? There's outliers. There's extreme higher number, there's an extreme lower number. Or what of if your activity happen outside that range? That's extrapolation. It's only looking at interpolation, not what? Extrapolation. Outside that range. Anything can happen. I get it now. So what of the activity beyond that level? So it doesn't take that one into consideration. Do you think, can you see now? So now, let me tell you some secrets on this high and low method. We're going to waste time here, a lot here. We are going to spend time here, seriously. Because it's very important. This is one of the important topics that you need to know for PM. You need to really know something here. Now, when you talk about high and low method, they give you some information. They call it maintenance, variable or fixed. I mean, they didn't tell you variable, they didn't tell you fixed. They tell selling and distribution, variable or fixed. Can you see now? They didn't say that variable selling and distribution cost. They didn't tell you that variable fixed selling and distribution. I mean, they give you a call it administrative cost. Variable or fixed. You don't know. Do you get it now? So you have to go further. That okay, is there any information that give me this thing is variable or fixed? Or did they give me the activity level for more than a period? Please take note. Most of the time, in any person, you need to use high and low method, either as an ingredient or as a full question. They will not tell you use high and low method. Even if you are going to use as an ingredient. This is why I'm hammering this statement. In any question, you have seen a cost that is mixed. Can you see now? And in that question, they are giving you the activity level for more than a period. There is element of high and low method in that question, either as an ingredient or a complete question. Do you get it now? In this regression method, we say estimate using regression method. Estimate using high and low, no, estimate using scatter diagram. They be more specific about the method they are asking. I get it now. But most of the time, if not all the time, when they are giving you high and low method, they won't tell you using high and low method. But when you see that you have a cost to separate, even in other, you see as we are going further in other topics now, you will see where we are going to use high and low where it's necessary. Nobody will tell you go and use high and low. Say, oh, I need to separate this. I get it now. Okay, let me use this. So where they give you more than one level of activities, they give you unit produced in January, unit produced in February, or they give you years, or they give you months. You must see that, and I want to separate a cost. Nobody will tell you that this is high and low method. Please take note of that. So when you don't have high and low method, you don't have any problem. The first thing you need to do is that identify the high level of activity and the low level of activities. You have identified that. I get it now. Once you have identified the high level of activities and the low level of activity, then identify their corresponding cost. So please don't start with identification of cost. See problem? Start with what? Identification of activity level. Because in that case, activity level is independent variable. Why? Because it's a dependent variable. Are you getting it now? That's why you are choosing the activity level, which is the one that will now determine what will be the cost. So choose the high level of activity and then choose the low level of activity. After you have done that, then choose their corresponding cost. What's the cost of high level? What's the cost level of what's the cost of low level of activity? And they find the difference. I get it now. You have now seen the difference in activity level and the difference in cost. Can you see now? Look at it now. After you have identified their corresponding cost, find the difference. The corresponding cost. After you have identified the activity level, then identify their what? Their corresponding cost. After you have done that, find the difference. What is the difference in activity level? What is the difference in cost? Now, I can go further later because there are some elements that can make that change. But I will tell you where some other methods can enter, some other steps can enter along the line. But I want to take it step by step here. Now, by that time you have seen that you are having difference in activity level and difference in cost. What do I mean? That is changes in activity level and changes in cost. Look at it. What is your variable cost? The cost change because the activity level change. Variable cost what? Changes in cost. As a result of changes in activity level. Which cost is that? Variable cost. But then you say, okay, changes in cost divided by changes in activity level. What are you having? Variable cost. Can you see now? But then you have that now you are good to go. You cannot use either low level of activity or high level of activity to determine the fixed cost, because you have already have one variable out of all the other variables. You have all the variables except one is missing, which is fixed. So we are going to put one or two questions together now. Let's see. Let's go to our material. Oh yeah, somebody should read the question that is there. Oh, that's the material we are using. That's the question number. Let's look at that DAO Limited. Who will read for us? Next caster? Question 1. I will send it to the group again. Oh yeah?
DAO company has recorded the following data cost during the last 5 years.
Go ahead. I want to give you before. So I give you? Because your voice will not react there.
Okay. Data cost. Output revenue.
How is the question?
Cost.
This question number 1.
Okay. This data.
Yes. Okay, what is that? Okay, this question number 1. Question 1? Okay. In this caster. No, just talk, don't worry. Go ahead.
DAO Co has recorded the following total cost during the last 5 years. Year, output volume, total cost, units, and naira. 2,000, 65,000, 145,000. You should call it year. 2000. Year 2001. Unit 80,000. Total cost 162,000. Year 2002. 90,000. That is the unit cost. Total cost 170,000. Year 2003. Output volume 60,000. Total cost 140,000. Year 2004. Output volume 75,000. Total cost 160,000. Required. Calculate the total cost that should be expected in 2005 if output is 105,000 units.
Look at it now. You are now required. It's in the material. You don't have material. Please, yes, please send that material to the PM group. Send it to
In
the.
the last video, you didn't send.
I've not. Next week. So somebody should send that material to the group. So let everybody have it. So if you look at it now, they give us the output and cost. I mean, output and let me use total. Let me just say cost. And they're asking you to estimate for 2005, when the activity will be 105. That's 105,000, right? Am I right? If you look at it now, that cost given to you, is it variable or fixed? Oh yeah. That cost given to you, is it variable or fixed? It's not specified. I mean, that means it may be variable, it may be fixed. Can you see logic now? They didn't tell you variable cost. They didn't tell you fixed cost. They said cost or total cost. We tell you that you don't know whether it's variable, you don't know whether it is fixed. So you need to separate. So that means it is a mixed cost, if at all. So definitely we need to separate it now. I mean, but here they didn't tell you use high and low. They didn't say no. But we have seen that they give us the output for from 20 what? From 2000 to 2004. If they give you only 2 periods, they have given you the activity level more than a period. So, did they mention high and low here? No. You see, by the time we start solving questions in other topics, you see that when we apply high and low method, that just as an ingredient. Do you get it now? So please take note of that. Now, what we need to do is that in that question now, please go through that question. Madam, please help us send that material to the group.
I'm working on these students so that I can put them on the group.
Okay.
Okay,
Don't worry. Oh yeah, send it. Kitoye.
seems like you got it. Okay.
As a general group, that's a PM group. Like PM group itself. So, Mato, sit down with your sister. As we are waiting for you. Okay. Now, if you look at it now, look at that person now. Tell me the high level of activity and low level of activities. Oh yeah. What is the high level? 2002. I'm not need the year, the output. 90,000. The high level, look at it now. We have DAO limited, or only DAO, right? DAO, right? Now we have activity level, we have cost. Activity level is in units, the cost is in naira. We have seen that this cost now, we can't say is variable, we can't say it is fixed. That means to us it's mixed until if we check, we see that the fixed is 0. So please take note of these little things. So now we have high level, we have low level, of activities. You said that the high level of activity is what? 90,000 units. Low level is what? 60,000 units. You have chosen the high and low level. Give me their corresponding cost. What is the cost of 90,000 units? 170,000. What is the cost of low level of activity? 140,000. Give me the difference now. Here, 30,000. Here, what? 30,000. Abi? Therefore, the variable cost per unit now, which is B, will now be changes in cost, that is 30,000 units, 30,000 naira, divided by changes in what? In the activity level, 30,000 units, which is what? 1 naira per unit. Abi? 1 naira per what? Per unit. And we know that our total cost is equal to fixed cost plus variable. Abi? Now, we have seen this now. And we have already seen that the total cost for I is 90,000. The total cost for low is 90,000. We have seen why. We have seen this. Abi? We can easily now use that to determine what is our A, which is fixed. I mean, either you use low level of activity or you use high level of activities. I mean, if you are using low level of activity, whether you use low or high, you must get the same answer. If your answer is different, you are wrong somewhere. Do you get it now? So that you take note of that. Now, let's use low level now. For the low level, the total cost is what? Is 140,000. I mean, equals to A, which is unknown. B is 1 naira. Bracket activity is what? 60,000. I mean, therefore, our A equals to 140,000. I mean, minus 1 times 60. That is 60,000. I mean, therefore, A is what? Is 80,000 naira. You have seen your A. Therefore, your Y will now become Y equals to A, which is 80,000 plus 1x. You don't need to say 1x again, plus x. So we can use this now to now estimate. Can you see now? Let's check something. For the high level of activity, variable cost per unit is what? 1 naira. 1 naira times 90 is what? Subtract from the total, which is 170. What do you have? If it's not the same, you have made a mistake somewhere. Do you get it now? Now, you have seen that these are cost function now. If they ask us to estimate now, we can go further. Anything that's not clear here, you can see some people are looking. I jump a step. I mean, that was the cause of trouble. Let me open something here for you. Don't worry. Look at it. You said that A.
You didn't jump and say, what is John want?
Don't worry.
Identify what is A, what is X.
You got it right? This is a 140,000 equals to A, which is unknown. I mean, our B. Don't worry. You are good to go. You see. So plus 1 times 60. 60, right? So 60,000. You are looking for A. Am I right? If you take the one to this side, positive become what? Negative. It now become 140,000 minus 60,000 equals to A. I mean, A equals to 140 minus 60 is what? 80.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So now from this question here,
Yes.
how do you know if the cost is variable or fixed?
We don't know yet.
But for instance, where maybe the cost from the question is variable or it's
They must be specific.
okay, they will specify.
They must be specific. But now we are not saying it's variable here. We are not saying it's fixed because they are not specific. That is why we see that they are not specific, or whether it's variable or fixed. We we assume it is a mixed. But by the time we now do this analysis, we now see that this A is 0. Now, that cost is variable. Okay, see now. So if it is variable, this will be 0. Can you see we can't estimate? So, and then also, if it's variable, by the time you are dividing the total cost by the activity level, must give you the same value. If you are checking that, it will give you the same figure. If it's okay, 170,000 divided by 90, what do you have? Check your calculator. You want to see whether it's variable. So variable cost, the B must be constant. If you are saying 140 divided by 60, does it give you the same value? It won't give you the same value. What of this one? Is it the same? Peter?
Sir, in the formula,
Yes, sir.
y is equal to a plus bx.
Yes?
That means that this formula is a formula of total cost.
Yes.
Okay. From this 140, 140, can you pick either in low or in high?
You can choose anyone. Yes. I can say, okay, 170. I mean,
Yes.
look at it. If I want to use high level of activity, I'll just, okay, 170,000 equals to A plus 1 bracket what? 90,000. I mean, and I've also demonstrated that. So, which means 170,000 equals to A plus 90,000, right? Therefore, A equals to 170,000 minus 90,000. What is A? No? 80. So now I say that whether you use high or you use low, you must have the same figure. Once your figure is not the same, you are wrong. But please, in the exam hall, those of you have tested for the high, let me quickly test for the low. You are wasting time. So I've calculated for the high, let me calculate for the low. You can easily just say, pick your calculator, that variable times this, subtract from here. Have the same answer. You can quickly check that instantly.
So you said the fixed cost and the A.
Yes, ma'am.
Because
If it's variable, if it's the whole thing is variable,
this one is fixed.
it's fixed. There's a fixed element there. There's a variable element there. Variable element is 1 naira per unit. The fixed is what? Is 80. So if you want to estimate now, look at it. We have seen that our y equals to A, which is 80,000, plus 1x, bx. You don't need to say 1. When you say x, how many x is this? 1x. You don't need to say 1x again. Because it's how many? It's 1x already. So that's that. Now, because you're now saying calculate, estimate, or predict the cost in 2005, if the unit is 105,000. So cost for 105,000 units, 105,000 units. So we are going to have y equals to, this one is constant, 80, 80,000 plus 1 times what? 105. Plus 1 naira, 1 naira, bracket 105,000. So you are having y equals to 80,000 plus 105,000. Y equals to what? 185,000 naira. Therefore, the total cost is 105,000 for 105,000 units.
The total cost is still 105.
So 185, 185 for 105,000 units.
Sir,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
said in your question, wants to know whether we're going to use high and low
Yes.
method is if the period is more than
The activity level must be given for more than a period.
more than a period.
You know, we're going to solve more questions because I'm going to bid on this. This is just a child's play. Okay, I think she has sent the material to the group now.
Okay, thank you.
So let's copy first. Let's move further. Favor.
Sir,
I know that you don't like mathematics, have you? Don't worry. It's very easy. Don't be afraid like don't be like Stalin. Yes, I was saying it now. He was saying I was begging, don't take this thing, now don't pass. Don't pass now.
It's good to do these things, though. It's good to have preliminary background.
And that's good.
The way I was explaining them,
It's different now. And don't worry. We are moving gradually.
so it's good to have some background preliminary. You just say, I can't.
Are we done? Now, it is also possible that you have a step cost at 11. This is how we are going to build on this one. It will be that when you produce up to a certain level, your fiscal will take a steps. That's the way I explained the issue of rent in this class last week, right? That when you have more than what the class require, you need additional class. And you are going to pay the same rate, even for that only one student. Or else you are going to be another capacity. Do you get it now? So, now it is possible that, okay, in a question, you are going to have a step fixed cost. Please listen very well. Okay, copy first. Let me hold on small. So that because I need your attention here. Yes. How did I know? Because you have seen the formula that the formula for your cost function is what? Is this. Abi? Am I right? And at cost given to you, you have seen the total cost. Abi? You have seen the activity level. Have you? Remain only this and this. Only coefficient of B and then the fixed cost. Have you? The coefficient of X and then which is B. Am I right? Variable cost per unit. And then you can't know this until you know which part of the cost is varying. Do you get it now? That we need to look for, okay, what is the difference in the activity so that we can be able to know which part change when the activity level change. What is that variable cost per unit? Now, you now have high and low method, but there is a step fixed cost. When you produce a certain range, then the cost take another step. Am I right? So, how can we do that? How can we solve the problem when there is a step cost? Don't forget, we said that it's still the same method, but let me tell you now. We said that identify the high level of activity, identify the low level of activities, then choose their corresponding cost. Can you see now? Definitely, if there is a step cost, one of the activity level will contain that step cost. Before you look for the difference now, the next thing you need to do now is to eliminate that step cost. They will now be on the same parameter. Can you see now? For example, now, I told you that to produce 100,000 students, let me say to produce 1,000 students, our class will contain that 1,000 students. And the cost is 100,000 naira. For example, let me use 100 students. Let me be too much. 100 students, our class will contain that number, and the rent of the class is 100,000 naira. Am I right? And I said that once we are producing 101 students, any steps, any unit above 100,000, above 100 students, additional class is required at the rate of 100,000. Do you get now? I'm saying that based on the course experience, the 100 students, one class is enough for them. We have one class. But anything above 100,000, additional 100 students, additional class is required at the rate of 100,000. Oh, let me say at the rate of 50,000, any amount. Do you get it now? And I'll give you the activity level. Look at it. Activity level 50. I said 150,000. 70. Let's say I said 160,000. I'm just giving random figure, and I get to 120, and I said 205,000. If I'm selecting this, the low level of activity is this, the high level of activity is this. Look at it here. For 50 students, I said the total cost is 150,000. For 70 students, we're having, let me say, 190,000. For 120 students, at least we're having, let me 250,000. Let me use that, for example, now. If I'm using my high and low method now, the low level of activity is this, the high is this. But I say that for any student above 100, there's a need for additional class at the rate of 100,000. Or let me say 50,000, any amount. That means that if I choose this cost and this cost, they are not on the same parameter. This one included, embedded in the step cost. Does this one include the step cost? Because we have not produced, this one does not reach even 100. I mean, so anything below or equal to 100 students is our normal rent. It is when you now above 100, you now have a step. So here, there's a step here, in this cost here. Here, there's no step cost. That means they are not on the same parameters. To make on the same parameter, is that I had that 50, that additional rent here, or I eliminate it. So the best method is to eliminate. Just eliminate that additional rent from here. So they are not the same parameter before you start using high and low method. Do you get it now? So that is the factor you need to, when there is a step cost. Go ahead. Now, I will just remove it from there. Don't worry, I'm going to solve the question. There's no problem. Every steps, we have the question for it.
Oh, you said this A represent variable.
B is variable cost.
Okay, B is variable.
Variable cost. A is fixed cost. Okay, let's look at the question number 3. So, okay, question number 2, I've solved the one. Question number 2. Oh yeah, somebody help us to read. Before you start, madam, they will not hear your voice. They will not even hear you.
The following data relates to the overhead expenditure of contract cleaners for industrial cleaning at two activity levels. Square meters cleaned, 12,750 and 15,100. Overhead, 73,950 and 83,585 naira. When more than 14,000 square meters are industrially cleaned, there will be a step up in fixed cost of 4,700. Required, calculate the estimated total cost if 14,500 square meters are to be industrially cleaned.
Very simple question. If you look at that question now, if you look at the question, you will see that they give us the activity level. I mean, for certain period and the other, they give us 2 activity level. I mean, can you see now? They give us what? 2 activity level. They didn't tell you high and low method. But they gave you 2 activity level. I think you are getting it now. Like the first one, they give us more than 2. But here they give us only 2 activity level. They are cleaning the floor. I mean, and they charge you per the square meter of the floor. This is the service. Facility management, which I'm one of the guys working for a facility management company. So industrially, so we need your house to be clean, we can do that for you, and your office. We are good at that. So advertisement free. So now,
What is your existing management?
is it?
Your company management. To manage the real estate or what?
So yes, we don't manage estate, but we involve in construction company or these things. So now,
I'm not going to take this submission for one.
we are there. We talk after the class. Let's discuss. Let's discuss about class. Now, if you look at it now, they give us 2 periods. 2 activity level. The first activity level is what? 12,750 square meters. The second activity level is what? 15,400 square meters. I mean, so 100, right? But they say that when more than 4,000 square meters are industrially cleaned, I mean, there will be a step up in fixed cost of what? Of 4,700 naira. Please be careful here. In PM, Increase by is different from increase to. Increase by, look at it here. In this case, the first thing we need to do here, okay, I still have a space here. We have activity level and we have overhead. I mean, they call it overhead. I mean, this is in terms of square meter. Square meter, this is cost. Am I right? Then here we have high, we have low. Am I making some more sense? The high level is how many units? 15,100. The low is what? 750 square meters. But go back to the question. The question says, when more than 14,000 square meters is industrially cleaned, there is a step up of fixed cost of what? 14,000 or 4,700 naira or 4,700 naira. There is a step cost, step up cost. What does that mean? That the fixed cost increased by what? We increased by 4,700 naira. I will change that scenario later. You will see how somebody can easily fall to a trap. So, but in this case now, you now see that they are saying that the fixed cost will increase by 4,700, right? So please, I will come back to that later. Now, what is the cost for the high in the question? Working. I want to do something. The cost for the high is what? 53,000. I mean, 83,585. The cost for the loan is what? 950. I mean, now please look up. Which of these costs contain the step cost? Because they say that for this high already contain the step cost. What do they say? Because they say that when more than 40,000 is cleaned, I mean, the step up of fixed cost of 4,700 will occur. I mean, and this one, does it less or more than 40,000? Are we together? 4,500, right? So it's already more than 14,500 units. Which means that whatever cost they gave us here has already embedded in the what? The step cost. This is a 12,750. Can we say the step cost is here? Because it's less than 40,500 units. Square meter, sorry. Can you see the? So we don't pay attention to that details now. We just say, oh, I have no method. Zero. No matter how you work, you can only get mark for this. This difference here. Any other thing will be zero. Because you didn't take care of what you're supposed to do at the beginning. Can you see how PM is very difficult now? You say, oh, fantastic. I did that. That is how it's very simple. Very beautiful. Oh my God. We don't know that you did a beautiful nonsense. It's a nonsense, but it's very beautiful. So it has a fact. So since we have seen that now, the first work we need to do is to eliminate that cost now, that step cost. We now come here, working one, elimination of step cost. Because so that two of them will be on the same parameter. One contains step cost, one does not contain step cost. Want to find the difference. So they are not on this. Which is the high one contain? Yes, now. We now eliminate from that cost. What is the cost? 83, I mean 585. Step cost is how much? 4,700. Take it out. What do you have? 78, 885. So this is what we now need to pick now. We now come here, 78, 885. This one is what? 75, right? The low cost? 950, right? Oh yeah, give me the difference now on the two. Difference here, difference here. As what? Go to the question. What did they say in the question?
How do we get this? How do we do the elimination?
This one.
No, I think if you want to understand,
How do we? Now, the cost of high is 83,585, and they said that when more than 40,500 square meters are industrially cleaned, the fees will increase by what? By what? 4,007, which means that at the high level is what? Is 14,100, 100, right? And if this high is or is 14,005 or below 14,005, there's no fees, there's no step cost, right? We agree. Now, but here it means that in this one, which is 83 now, there is a step cost. I mean, in this one, there is no step cost. Are they comparable? They are not on the same parameter. So what we need to do is either we add that step cost to this one, or we eliminate that step cost for this one. They will now be on the same parameter.
Okay, if you add,
There's no problem. But the best thing, eliminate to make it easy. Am I good to go now? So now, the difference in activity level, 9, cost is 4,935. Out of this one, 2,350. This is the changes in cost. This is changes in activity level. So we are talking about what? Variable cost per unit, which is B. Abi? Will now be changes in cost. 4,935 divided by 2,350 units. 2,350 units. What do we have? 2.4 per what? 0.1 per what? No? Per square meter. Please take note of that. If it is a per hour, it's a per hour. If it's a per direct labor hour, it's a direct labor hour. It's a per machine, it's a per machine hour. You can check now. Well, I don't think it's charging. Don't worry. Come. See this one. So now, you have now seen that the variable cost per unit, per square meter is 2 naira 10 kobo. Abi? So we can now use that now to determine the fixed cost. Abi? Am I right? So our y equals to a plus b x. We have seen this b now. Abi? We have seen the activities. We have seen the cost. You can get a. Abi? Can we use high or low? Which one do you choose? Any of them. They say anyone. I said choose one. Let's use low. Okay? They said low. Now we come here now. For the low, the total cost is what? 73,935 equals to A is on no, plus B is 2.1. 2.1 bracket what? 12,000. 73,950. Have we? Okay, equals to this. Am I right? So you're going to have 73,950 equal to A plus 2.1 times this. What do you have? times 12,750. 26,779. 5. Let me check something. Did you approximate here? Okay, good. So you are having A equals to 73,950 minus 26,775. A is what? Oh yeah. 47,175. That is your fixed cost. Therefore, our Y, now, to get the Y now depends on which activity level are you predicting. Are you predicting below 14,700 or you are predicting above? Can you see now? Because below now, look at it here. You have eliminated what? The element of step cost here. So I want to explain something there. At this level, as you got based on this calculation now, you have eliminated what? The step cost is not included. I mean, therefore, anything below 14,500 or equal to 14,500, look at it now. For less or equals to 14,500 square meters. 14,000. Okay, 14,000 square meters. For anything less or equal to that 14,000 square meters, your Y is, what is A? 47,175, plus 2.1x, am I right? But anything above, because they said that when more than 14,000 square meter industrial square meter are cleaned, this fixed cost increased by, do you get it now? If you look at it, that means anything below, there won't be any need to include what? The step cost. But anything above that 14,000, you have to include that what? That step cost. Here, we have eliminated the step cost. We got this. You can go. But if you added that step cost here, whatever you have gotten, you are included the step cost. Do you get it now? So you have to take note. So it's better to eliminate it. Then we are now predicting for something above. Add it back. So if I'm predicting for anything above that now, I will now come here, my Y, for more than 14,000 square meter, my what? My Y will be, this is a fixed cost. Step cost is how much? Do we need to add it or not? Can you see now? We now add it. Without that square meter, is this? It now be 47,175 plus 4,007, that is the fixed cost, plus 2.1x. It now be Y equals to 50 what? 51,875 plus 2.1x. But what did they say in the question? Calculate what? Okay, now. So the step cost occur at 14,000 square meter. They are now asking to calculate for 14,500 square meter. So we are belonging to this. Or if you use this, When you get your final answer, add the step cost to it. Don't say that's the final answer. Do you get it now? There are two ways here. Is it that when you are done with calculation, add that step cost. I will show you here. Don't worry, there's no problem. So you come here, we have, so the cost for 14,500 square meter. So we are using this. I mean, it will now be y equals to 51,875 plus 2.1 bracket 14,500. I mean, y equals to 51,875, sorry, plus 2.1 times 14,005. What do you have? Is it 30,450? I mean, therefore, y equals to what? 80 what? 82,325. Check. Let's check something here. If you use this, I mean, please put your calculator. It will be 30,450 plus 47,175. I mean, when you get that, there is no step cost included. Then add that 4,007 to it. It will give you this. I think you are getting it now. So that is if there is a step fixed cost. And I said something. Please listen here. The question says that the fixed cost increased by 4,007. I mean, what if they said that the fixed cost increased to 58,000? What are you eliminating from here? The question says the fixed cost, the question says when more than 40,000 square meters are industrially cleaned, the fixed cost increase step up by 4,007. I mean, we are removing that 4,007. But here, the question says the fixed cost increased to 58,000. I get now. That will come here. But they won't give you that because you won't know what you need to eliminate from here. I mean, that's where the issue is. But please, in PM, increase by is different from increase to.
How do we understand that? Because increase to, since we already know what the cost is, when we say increase to,
Yes.
we
Yeah, you already know the
can be
old figure. Old figure to the new figure. Yes, but in that case, you know, from the beginning, from the question, except they give us the whole fixed cost. So if they didn't give us the whole fixed cost, we will be able to know what is the increment that we need to eliminate. That's either they give some information or they go by this. But I'm saying that some questions, when you get there, you will see that the increase to is different from increase by. So there are two different factors. I'll give you an example when you get it. Don't worry. We have a lot of questions that deal with that. We have a lot. Let's move a step further. That's where we are going to stop today. What if there is inflation? Or deflation? Anything can occur, because it's possible. Am I right? Although deflation is hardly occur, but inflation is somehow common. Almost every part of the country of the world, all the part of the world, except only few countries, like I think Japan, experiencing deflation, right? That would go for their devaluation of currency. So I don't know what most of the countries is inflation. So they are trying to balance their own book. Now, when you talk of inflation now, you talk about the persistent changes, in the persistent increase in the price of goods and services, or persistent decrease in the purchasing power of money, of naira as Nigeria. So when the price, like what we are experiencing currently, when you buy tomato last week, you go there today, the price of tomato has skyrocketed. If you are a kitchen child like me, you know what is going on every part, every market. Have this. So when the price is increasing like that, definitely your cost will not be comparable. Am I right? Because what happened last time you produced that period has changed. And the index to measure the inflation or deflation of an economy is what? Price index. So they may give you the price index. Am I right? Once your price index is 100, that economy is what? Is a stable economy. They are not expressing inflation or deflation. But once your price index below 100, that particular economy is expressing deflation. It is very difficult. The inflation is more controllable than deflation.
Inflation is more controllable than deflation.
Yes.
Inflation is not controllable.
Yes. Yes. That's why you see every country, they will increase their interest rate at certain level above. Deflation simply means persistent decrease in the price of goods and services.
Increase in purchasing power.
And the increase in purchasing power of your currency. So, the price index. Once your price index is 100, it's a stable economy. When it below 100, it is a deflated economy. Well, once it's above 100, it is inflated economy. Let me give an example here. You have a price index that is 110. Inflation or deflation? Inflation by what rate? 10%. By 10%, please. Please take note. So by 10%. So once, let's say you have PI of 98%. PI of 98%. Deflation. Deflation by how many percent? By 2%. So this is how to quickly identify whether an economy is expressing inflation or deflation. You measure the level of inflation or deflation through your price index. Now, we are not talking of high and low method. In an economy that is expressing inflation or deflation. Let me say inflation. Let me just use inflation directly. Now, you have identified the activity level. You have identified their corresponding cost. If in those two periods, the country is expressing inflation at different rates, are they comparable? Those figures, are they comparable? No. Let's say in the first period, you have inflation price index of 110. In the lowest period, you have price index of 120. Are those two costs comparable? They are not the same, because there is element of different inflation effects on the cost, which you have to eliminate and make it to be a stable cost. That's what we now compare. Can you see now? So what we are saying that if in the economy also now, your cost is inflated or deflated, the first thing you need to do, the same we did under step cost, is to eliminate the inflation. So that let's make the two costs to be on the same stable figures. I get now, they will now be comparable. I'm making some more sense now. So now, because it will now be, how can we now eliminate the inflation? I mean, that is the next question now. Once you want to eliminate now, the first thing you do is what? Just look at figure, cost. Let me do that. Cost will be current year cost divided by all value or amount, amount equals the current year amount divided by 1 plus R. R is what? R is the inflation rate. I don't want to bug you with some other things. It's okay like this. Don't let me stress myself much. I mean, 1 plus R. R is the rate of inflation. I get it now? So by the time you have done that, you have eliminated the inflation effect. You now have a real amount. Is it difficult? Very easy. With this, let me solve a question quickly, and from there, I will end today's class. We are going to continue from there next class. Is it? I'm not taking the second class. Okay, I'm having a break now. Huh? How many minutes?
15 minutes.
Okay.
Question 3, Abby.
Let's look at that question number 3 quickly. There is no time to take time. What did they say? No, let me go to that question number 4. Look at that number 3. Go and do it on your own assignment. Question number 3. Practice that question number 3. Question number 4. I'm doing in class. Number 5. You are going to do that one by yourself. Then we are going to solve it in class again, like a correction. So in this question about number 3 now, you see when I'm talking about increase to and increase by. So when I'm talking about increase to this or increase by this is where you will see that factor. So you see that question here. So don't worry. So we have seen. Now let's look at question number what? Number 4. Okay, let's go.
Kuje PLC has recorded the total cost year 2000 to 2004, output units given, cost given, and price index given. All figures assumed.
No, call the figure.
I should call it.
Yes.
Okay. 2000, 97,500 units, 300,000 naira as cost, then price index of 100. 2001, 119,000 units, cost of 423,000 naira, and price index of 110. Year 2002, output units of 135,000, cost of 522,750 naira, price index of 123. Year 2003, output units of 90,000, cost of 504,000 naira, and price index of 444. And year 2004, output units of 113,000, cost of 600,000 naira, and price index of 156. Required: estimate the cost equation expected in year 2005 when the price index will be 180. B. Determine the total cost in 2005 if 190 units are produced.
If you look at that question now, they have taken care or included the inflation now. Have you?
Yes.
So in 2020, in 2000, year 2000, the economy is inflated or deflated economy. Is a stable economy because the price in there is 100. So, but we don't need to bother ourselves, except if that particular period is one of the high or low period. We know that there's no need to what to even eliminate anything there. Have you? Now, go back to the question. What is the high level of activities and tell me the low level of the activity? 2002, how many? That's the high level of activities. So we have the activity level, which is in terms of unit, output. And we have cost. Please, why are we using high and low here? It just estimate. Why are we using high and low? Because they gave us activity for more than one. And we have seen that the cost given to us, is it fixed or variable? It look at variable and fixed, they are not specific. So, can you see, please, that's why I'm hammering this statement. You will see when we go further, the next question there, you will see what happened there. So, those are the things you need to understand. So, know when, that's where, sometimes you can get to someone, you can say, where am I going to start this one from? So, it's all these little details. When you pay attention to these little details, you don't have problem. You know that, when you are reading, you have seen the cost. They say cost, they say selling price. And you have seen that they're asking you for budgeting, you're asking for what? Relevant cost. You say, this cost, there must be further information on whether it's fixed or variable. I get to know. So you have to, as you are reading, you must be, you are going to say, okay, I'm expecting some information like this. See, if you can do that, no, you are now a guru in PM. So please, that is the reason I want you to be solving. Don't be looking at, we are solving a question in class under this topic. Why that question is that topic? So you will not be reasoning. Because in the exam, they will not tell you this question is from what? Relevant cost. Go and use it. They want to narrow it down to, okay, this question is a relevant cost question. Please take note. So now, we have high, we have low. High is 135,000 units, Low is what? 90,000. Now, there is a problem here. For that high level, the price index is what? 125. Inflation rate of what? 123, right? Of 23%. For that low level, price index is what? 144. So the both period are inflated period. Even inflated at different rates. We need to eliminate that. So let's quickly do some more working. Yes. Working one. If you can do that, but it's better to do your working after, so that at least you can be incorporating, because working is not what they require. It's just like an appendix. So that you need to gather yourself as you are a professional. When you get to professional level, you call it appendix. So appendix come after the main thing. So it's better in that way. So let's look at it. Now, for the high, okay, let me say cost. High, low. For the high, the cost is how much? What? 522, 750,000. For the low, because it's what? 504,000, right? Ah, you have need to do this. Don't mind me. Don't let me do that. Let me just use a mathematical knowledge. Have you? So don't let me. I'm not in the reporting class. I want to do that then remove the inflation. So we said the real amount, Abi, is what? Current year amount or cost divided by 1 plus half. Abi, 1 plus inflation rate. Look at it. For high, the cost is 522,750 naira divided by 1 plus what? 1 plus is 0.23. Abi? So which will be 522,750 divided by 1.23. You can see some formula, just the current year divided by price index. I just give you this because sometimes they may not give you the price. Just say the inflation rate of 5%. So please, that's that one. So what do you have? 425,000. For low is 504,000 divided by 1 plus is 0. What? 44. So you are having 504,000 divided by 1.44. What do you have? 3 what? 350,000. Failure to do this, you are scoring 0. I don't know what R is in the question. What is the price index at this high level? What is the price index? Price index is what? 123. Abi? What is the inflation rate there? I'm asking. Is above 100 by what? Price index is what? We are not going to allow. For this high level of activities, which is 135,000, which period is this? So at that high level of activity, the price index is what? Is 123, Abi? And the stable economy is what? Is 100, Abi? This one is what? Is inflated economy, Abi? Inflated by how much? By how many rate? How many percent? That's how I get it up. Do you get it now? So I think we are good to go now. So now, the next thing is that if you fail to eliminate this, scoring 0. Can you see now? So please take note of all these little details. So what you need to do, you do before you go further. So now, we now use this cost now. 425,000 and 350,000. Give me the difference. 125. Difference here what? 45, right? That is the difference. Refigure. You have removed the inflation now. Now, therefore, the variable cost per unit will now be changes in cost, which is 125,000, as a result of changes in the activity level. What do you have here? Is it approximation or just? So please, when you have figures that have 1.777 something or any figure, please use a 4 decimal places. Yes, I'm saying it because if you are using the old figure, you are using like 1 naira point something, you may not really get the actual figure. this to approximation. But we are going to see, but this is what is actually happening most of the time. So let's see the example now. What we have, but although it's a naira, we have 2 kobo. I mean, but you see the effect. But please take note. Sometimes in the exam, I need to tell people, when you have that issue, when you are multiplying, use that whole figure you have divided, multiply it. So to avoid that issue of approximation. You will see now. Don't worry. I will open it here. So you are having what? What do you have here? 1.2, I mean? 2 point what? 78, I mean? Per? No. This is naira. I'm looking, but you will see what will happen. I want you to see the effect. Abi? We now know that when we are multiplying, let's use our real figure completely to avoid the issue of approximation. No, but no, you don't use, just press it, multiply direct. You don't need to understand now. No, I will show you when I get there. Don't approximate, because it's going to have, most likely, it's going to affect our figure. You will see now. I will practicalize it. Now, we know that our y equals to a plus bx. Are we using high or low? Which one? We are using high. We are having, the cost is 425,000 equals to a, which is on no, plus b is what? 2.78 bracket what? 135,000. You are having 425,000 equals to a plus 2.78 multiply 135. What do you have? First, give me the figure. 3 what? 375, 300. 375. Okay, now. Can you see now? Once you approximate now, you are having 375,000. The effect of approximation will cause trouble. Did you get it now? But what we do, you said 125 divided by 45,000. 125,000 divided by 45,000. What do you have? Multiply directly by 135,000. You see, it will give you the exact figure without effect of approximation. That's what I'm saying here. Can you see now? You're having 375,000. That's why I said sometimes you use 4 decimal places. Yes, if you use 4 decimal places, it will now reduce that problem. Or go back there. Or press 2.7778. Let's see. 2.7778. 4 decimal places. Multiply 135,000. Can you see now? So it is more better. So while it is 4 decimal places, it will reduce that what? That effect. Like I said, it's better at this point go to a 4 decimal place. But we talk about, so we say, okay, this is a naira now. We don't have 4 decimal kobo. We have only 2 digits for kobo. But you have to factor that when you are doing your calculator to avoid that issue. Because anything you are getting here, you are using it for other questions. So now we are having a equals to 425,000 minus 375,000. A is what? Is what? Is 50,000 naira. If you check the same thing for low, please pick your calculator. 2.778 times 90, so 5 for 350. It must give you this figure. If you are not getting the same thing, there's a problem somewhere. So we have seen your fixed cost now. Therefore, our y now. Look at it here. Before you arrive at all these figures, you have eliminated what? The inflation. You have eliminated what? The inflation now. So you are having, but they are asking the question that, what did they say? They said estimate, They said, where is it? They said, estimate the cost equation expected in 2005 when the price index will be 180. This one, oh yeah, let's go. 2.778 times 90,000. What? 250. There's a point somewhere there. So if you have a different figure, there's a problem somewhere. She said that when you apply this here, we have a different figure. Alright, let's go. 425 minus 350. What do you have? 125, right? This is where the issue is. Here is 75,000. We come here, we are having 75,000 divided by what? 45,000. What do we have? 1.67. I mean 66667, right? Okay, here we are having 1.67. That 1.67 times 135,000. What do you have? 225. This one give you 225,000. I mean 225,000. So therefore minus 225,000. What are you having here then? We have 200,000. Sorry, I don't have ready-made answer. I come to class and then so that so I come to class, let me deliver and go. So now,
Sir, here's a question.
yes, ma'am.
This approximation into four decimal places, I'm still confused about it because you earlier presented into two decimal places here.
But when you are multiplying it, use the 4 decimal places.
No, but still, this particular one, they say 225.
Okay, he gave what?
He said
1.67, I mean.
no, 1.666. I didn't approximate.
Okay, all I'm saying now. So it will give you the. What I'm saying is here, favor. What I'm saying here is that if you approximated the figure here, you won't have a exact figure here. If you say, check your calculator now, 1.67 multiplied by 135,000, what do you have? 450. Can you see now? That 450 is because of the effects of that approximation. But if you use 4 decimal places, or you just multiply directly after you divide, it will give you a exact figure. So you can write it here and put, or you put 667. It's allowed. So to avoid, I'm not looking at because this is a naira. We have four digit for kobo. We have only 2 digits. Understand now? So I'm just trying to be careful here. But for me, when you are multiplying, use your 4 decimal places or the whole figure as you divide the figure. I can't say that because what is better use the real figure to avoid, because now your fiscal will change. Will now be around 199,650. I don't know whether there's a range of they are using. So, but to avoid all those things, I say let's go for that. So now we have this. Now, if you look at it, 2 minutes. If you look at this, we have eliminated the inflation now. I mean, and the person is asking you, what is the cost functions, cost equation when the price index is 180? I mean, then we have to factor in. Look at it here. Our y equals to a, which is 200,000 plus 1.67 x. I mean, am I right? But let me take it to 667 x. I mean, to avoid that, this is what we have. Am I right? But this figure, have we included the inflation or not? But they said that estimate the cost equation in 2005 when the price index is 180. So we have to factor the what? The inflation here now. Am I right? So therefore, our Y will now be 200,000 bracket what? 1.8. A real figure, we are increasing it, Abi. Am I right? Plus 1.6667 bracket 1.8x. I mean, you are now embedding the inflation effect. You are increasing it. I mean, or you multiply 1.8 times 200,000. What do you have? Y equals to 360,000 plus 1.8 multiplied by 1.667, 3.00, no, that's 3. That's 3x. This is what they're asking for. If you stop here, you will not get math. Because they are asking, calculate the cost equation when the price index is 180. I mean, they now ask you B, that what is the total cost, I mean, for how many units? For 190,000 units. So we can't use this one, we have to use this, I mean, because that's what happened in 2005. So our Y will now equal to 360,000 plus 3 bracket 190,000. Our Y will now equals to 360 plus 3 times 190 to 570,000. We are having Y equals to what? 930,000 naira. If you use this figure, after you have gotten your final answer, you have to multiply what? 1.8 to get the final. So I will stop here today. Go and practice question number what? Number 3 as your assignment, and question number 5 as your assignment. So from there, we move on and meet next class.